McCowatt will tell something about his vision and anti-sound on the ISO 21119. So give a hand for Iain. Good luck.
Thank you. Hello, so we're talking about 29119. If you're not familiar with it, where you been? 29119 has attracted some significant criticism. Here's a few names: Kem Kainer, James Back, James Custody, Keith Klein, Neil Studd, Hauser Test, Tim Hall, Jerb Skirp, and I've lost track now. There's me, Maria, Michael, Justin, Marcus Gartner. A lot of criticism in blogs, in tweets, etc. These are a small selection of the voices who have been speaking out against this so-called testing standard. I'm not against standards in principle. Standards in many ways enrich and protect our lives. I'd find it hard to imagine getting on an airliner without the existence of standards. Management standards, on the other hand, are something a little bit different. Now, if you go to the ISO website and have a little bit of a look around, you'll see that management standards are meant to, quote, provide economic value by allowing firms to reduce costs or by minimizing wastes and errors and increasing productivity. Does 29119 have economic value? Well, let's go back to its birth to try and figure that one out. In 2006, some papers were put together for a joint committee within the ISO organization that stated three main reasons for the standard. One was a bit of a tidy up. We've got some standards, they're local, national standards, they're not really being used. We need a new standard to replace them. No economic value there. Use as the basis for commercial contracts and international qualification schemes. Support any relevant regulatory situations. It seems to me that economic value is conspicuous in its absence when it comes to the motivations behind the standard. Where's reducing costs? Where's increasing the productivity of testing? Where's making testing better in any of those supposed benefits of the standard? Another question, where's the evidence? Today we heard from a couple of representatives of the standard, and it would seem that the International Standards Organization published these standards without first having any kind of evidence of efficacy. And in fact, last year, Stuart Reid, the convener of the working group that wrote this standard, made a presentation in Madrid where he cited that there is no evidence of efficacy. That is one of the potential factors that could block the implementation or the adoption of the standard. Since then, there's been scant evidence to support it. There is one paper, one academic research paper. There are arguably some threats to its validity, and it says nothing about 29119 making your testing great and helping you improve quality. It suggests that there might be a link between processes that resemble those in 29119 and people's confidence in quality. Well, confidence is not the same as quality. It's a very tenuous link. So the standard appears to be issued without any support and evidence. In short, businesses are being asked to place their trust in this standard, which is unproven and represents the opinions of a handful of self-proclaimed experts, despite the fact that there is widespread opposition from many other experts across the globe. But that's not why I object to 29119. It's something rather more principled than that. You see, the systems that develop software are human systems. They're complex systems. And if you know anything about complex systems, you'll know that consistent input does not guarantee consistent output. Doing the same things all the time doesn't guarantee that you're going to get consistently good results. Standardization reduces the complexity of a system. A control system needs to have more complexity than the system that it seeks to control. That's Ashby's law of requisite variety. So if you're standardizing, your control system, which is testing, is getting dumber. It's getting less able to handle the complexity of what it's trying to handle. Attempts to standardize testing demonstrate a significant misunderstanding as to the nature of software development. This is the heart of disagreement with 29119. Not that the content is poor, although I might think that. But the very notion of a standard for testing is misguided. Now, quick look at some other issues. We are told that there is no compulsion to use 29119. Does anybody remember ISO 9000? I remember ISO 9000. I was working in telco at the time, and in the UK, ISO 9000 was mandated to telcos. You have to comply with this standard. The government told us it was a condition of our license. Could that happen again? Maybe. Maybe regulators could seize hold of this. This, remember, regulatory situations, any relevant regulatory situations, is one of the reasons why the standard was put together in the first place. The standard could be forced down your throat. And there is a major issue with this. When we work in testing, if we are forced to comply with a set of rules, you get rule-following behavior, rule-seeking behavior. I'll be talking more about that tomorrow. But what it effectively means is it damages critical thinking. This is death in testing. Flexibility is another item. We're told that we can tailor the standard, make it suit our own purpose. But that kind of ignores how this kind of tailoring happens in the wild. I've been in organisations that had some form of standard and were meant to tailor it to their use. And what you have to do is you have to take the whole damn thing, you have to say, I'm not doing this bit because, and then get approval. I'm changing this bit because, and then get approval. This is a huge tax on your testing efforts. If you have to go through, and I'm only talking about one part of the ISO standard here, part 2, 77 clauses and 123 shall statements in order to justify why you're doing things differently. There's also the risk of goal divergence, and that's opportunity cost. In something such as testing, where we can't do everything, where every decision we make is a trade-off, if we spend time writing the documentation that the standard suggests that we need, if we spend time justifying why we do things differently, then we are not spending time on mission. We're not spending time finding information that's going to be useful to our stakeholders. And that means that if we adopt the standard, we are destroying value rather than improving the value of testing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much. And well, there's open for debate. And he's here. So make use of that. And thank you very much for listening.
Good stuff. Thank you very much.